Is Epic 7 back? At least that's what the word around the street is. Epic 7 just released their 7th anniversary festivities, part 1, the Summer Fiesta, and we'll be going over all there is to this whole festival and what's to come and what to be excited for, as well as some brand new units, 2 new limited units, and a new ML unit on the way. I'm super excited, and if you're excited, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Alrighty, Epic 7 7th Anniversary Festivities Part 1 Summer Fiesta. Boy, oh boy, that is a mouthful. We won't be necessarily watching any of these videos, but I will be showing some screenshots of them. Boom! A whole lot of behind right there. A whole lot of backside right there in our face. But yes, if you don't know, it is Hwayoung. She is going to be our like summer limited hero that we will be hopefully summoning for and hopefully getting. I've already seen her kit. I'll talk about it more later on in this video. Really good hero, and as all limited heroes go, you should summon for them. So please save up for these limited heroes as well as our up and coming ML hero as well that we'll get into a little bit later. But yes, also another thing I have to say, as the husbando collector that I am, if there is anything that listen, smile again if you watch this video, like give us like one summer skin. Like we already have Says, which is like I get it, like that's awesome, that's cool. Like give us another male summer skin, please. Like we give us some breadcrumbs here. I know that you guys like never want to give us like a summer male unit. Like that's fine. That's fine if you don't want to do that. But at least give us like one hero, like one skin. Just one. Just one, please. Okay. Another one I should say, because we already have Says, but like Says is like I don't know, not my fave. But we have all the other characters in this. Please feel free to watch this. I'll have it all linked in the comment section below so you can watch it for yourself. But yes, we also have a brand new character entering the mix. I think her name is Aram or something along those lines, but we don't know her kit yet. She is going to be like the new hero that's along with the summer story. She seems like she's a lifeguard. She has a very weird, like her quotes are very like, I'm gonna put you in your place and bow down to me. Reminds me a lot of Tenebria and stuff like that. I don't know, but that's her whole vibes, her whole personality. But yes, she will be the lifeguard, putting us in our place when she comes out. Okay, whatever she does, she seems like she's probably gonna also be OP. So be ready for that. And then, of course, we have all of that for the summer event that is coming out. And then we have our actual 7th anniversary festivities, all the goodies and the shebangs. It kind of goes over it here. Tons and tons of free summons, tons of buffs. If you are not somebody that plays Epic 7 or hasn't been playing Epic 7, I would highly encourage you to get back in it at least before or right on July 7th when this whole event starts. It could give you a really big boost to your account because you get all these free summons, you can get really good ML heroes and all these other kinds of things. So please make sure you tune in when this event starts. I would highly recommend tuning in a little bit earlier than the event if you're like completely new to the game just to get like an idea of like how to play it a little bit. But yes, get into Epic 7 now more than ever. If you took a break from it, this is a really great time to start back playing, at least throughout this entire event, to kind of get a good boost for your account. And then we have a new coupon code that you can redeem. The link here will take you to how to redeem it. And if you are using the PC client, you get some bonus rewards there. We go onto the PC client. So make sure you redeem this. I didn't even know this existed until I went onto this website. So I will be redeeming that after this video. So it gets you a little 6 gold transmit stones, some rare catalysts, and some epic catalysts, and all those kind of good stuff. The code EPIC7th for their 7th anniversary. This is going to be a big anniversary, by the way. A game called Epic 7, and we have reached our 7th anniversary. Yeah, like, please tune in now. Now more than ever. This is going to be a big event because it's the 7th one. It has to be. It has 7 in it. You know what I mean? And then we have some weekly rewards that we'll be getting throughout the each week. So just make sure you're actively playing and logging in so you can claim these rewards. And then we have a poll for a new skin for a hero. Whoever wins this poll will be getting a free limited skin. So make sure you, vote. I guess we could see in the future we'll be able to see like what the rankings are now. As somebody who is a very, very big husbando collector, listen, let me plead my case, okay? The waifus in this game get everything. I promise you, there is not a waifu in this game that will not receive some type of love and affection and skin, and therefore, this could be the one time, the one time we get something for a husbando. Like, vote for your favorite husbando character. Again, not to stray you away from the waifu that you were probably gonna vote for, but like, just once. This be like the one time, you know, that we get like something for like somebody like I don't know. I mean, I can't say Bizarre. Like obviously Bizarre is like my pride and true, but like the character itself like sucks in the game, so like I can't. I would never want to get. I wouldn't want to vote for Bizarre here, but there's plenty of other like relevant characters. Heck, even like Ross could use a skin, to be completely honest. Like he could use something, for his base model. He's also pretty meta for the most part. He's like a really good knight. So it could be Ross. It could be everybody voting for Ross just to get him a nice little skin so his model could be a little bit more updated. Even though he is getting his little ML form and things like that, but we could get a little something else, a little something else to the side. You know what I mean? And then we have, some digital rewards if you want to download these wallpapers and things like that, both for mobile and desktop. And then we have some artwork that's going to be showcased, celebrating all the different Epic 7 creators out there, all the different artwork, all the wonderful things out there. And then we don't have part 2 yet. Part 2 will be revealed later, but there's already so much to all of this. So feel free, check out these videos. These videos go over like the main bulk of everything. Basically, in short, tons of rewards, tons of new heroes, tons of rewards, like I said, and tons and tons and tons of rewards. Okay, so please feel free to tune back into Epic 7 if you took a break, or maybe start the game off for the very first time by July 7th and all the good rewards. So,
there's not a wave out there that I can't surmount. Kept waiting. There's not a wave out there that I can't surmount. Kept waiting. I'm here. Who's a little cute? Let's see if I still got it.
can I just say that Hwa-Young is probably like, I just love her voice. I love her English voice actor. They do an amazing job. But here we have our new Ice Thief, our limited hero for the summer events, Argent Waves Hwa-Young. I honestly was surprised that it was Hwa-Young, I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised that it's the whole, like, ML group, like the Moonlight Heroes, like the school group. I think this is, like, a really cool thing because it shows us that, like, they're willing to do different groups of characters from different universes for the summer events. I'm really excited for that. That opens the door for so many more interesting events for the future if they do like ML heroes for events and things like that. Really, really excited. Really big fan of Hwa-Young. I wish I had her ML version, but hey, maybe after this event I'll finally get it. But yeah, let's go ahead and go through the Herket. She is a Leo. She has decent crit chance, attack scaling, I'm assuming. Yeah, it's definitely attack scaling. Definitely a DPS hero. Okay. So, her S2, her passive, whenever you see a passive on a hero, you can almost always assume that it's going to be game changing in some way. But after an ally uses a non-attack skill, activates Swallow Kick on the enemy with the highest defense. This is most likely to deal with a lot of these like very beefy, um, not even just like defenses, just like in RTA in general. There is a certain Arunca that has been running amok across all elos and causing all types of chaos. And I feel like this is probably one of the very many answers that Svalgate is going to release to deal with that, dealing with Arunca, or the ML version, I should say. But yes, it will grant increased attack to the caster for 2 turns, attack the enemy by leaping forward, and increase combat readiness of the caster by 20%, and penetrates the target defense by 50%. And when the caster is granted vigor, it grants a extra turn. This is pretty interesting because this kind of works similar to um, young Cinia in the sense that like she will cut in front and then get an extra turn, so she will like take her turn after, even if she's not starting, the turn. So that's it's a very interesting like way to kind of get DPS heroes and things like that to like get to the front, or heroes that wants to like do things to like actually cut in front and interrupt any type of like cleave or any other kind of like shenanigans that could be happening, and things like that. But it is activated with an ally using a non-attack skill. They do show her being paired with C. Lilius here, because C. Lilius can give her the buff. She's like the only hero that I can think of off the top of my head that uses a non-attack skill that can grant that buff. Um, ML Politis isn't Vigor, right? Or maybe it is. I cannot remember. It probably is, but that's also probably another unit that can use it or can grant that buff as well. So you have like those two pretty decent openers. I don't really see Conquer Lilius getting back into the meta, but if ML Politis does grant this buff, then it's definitely her. Is it? I don't think ML Politis is the other hero. I'm like I'm forgetting. I'm not for sure. Feel free to correct me on that. I am not for sure. Her S3 attacks all enemies with a water scooter, increases the combat readiness of the ally in the back row by 50%, and it grants a vigor to the caster for 2 turns. So she is a little self-efficient. Like she can grant that buff herself. So depending on how you have your speed tuning and things like that, you can buff her herself. Like she can get it for herself, and then somebody can use a non-attack skill, and then she'll activate her passive and things like that. You can play around that, or you can just have a character or an opener that activates it for her and also grants her a vigor. But it attacks all enemies, was pretty interesting. Typically speaking, AoE attacks are a little scary because there's so many counter-attacking units in the game, but it does have some supporting capabilities by being able to boost up the ally in the back row by 50%. So that's really nice. It gives her a little bit of flexibility. Maybe she can be used as like a bridge for a cleave. That could probably be something that she can be used for, or just like a setup to like one-shot or nuke one unit in a more like aggro type of a draft. And then her S1, we got just a kick. What is Hua Young without kicking? You know what I mean? She has to kick. She always has to kick. She has to kick in all her forms and all of her versions. She has to kick. But it could dispel one buff, which is really nice. So there is that to look forward to. She's probably not going to be built with any effectiveness, so you're not really going to be dispelling buffs of high ER units, but you can dispel some buffs on some of those like lower ER DPS units that you want to just get rid of that immunity and things like that. So still a very useful um, skill 1. Surprisingly, there's no combat readiness increase here. I guess they've kind of dial it back with having, a 15% combat readiness increase on skill 1 on like literally every single hero. But yeah, they dialed it back a bit. We're trying new things again, so that's exciting, right? But yeah, that's going to be it for our limited ice hero. Do I think she's a must pull? I don't know yet. I think it would have to depend on the other hero in the mix, but typically speaking, you almost always want to pull for the limited heroes. But I will say her artifact, you need to get this artifact. I 100% chance to ignore damage sharing effects. This buffs so many thief heroes, just like this alone like does so much for so many different thieves. Make sure you get this artifact. If you don't get the unit, get this artifact. Get at least one copy. You can use powder to, enhance it later. But yeah, get this artifact. This artifact is definitely very, very crucial and very, very big. Um, and it's definitely an artifact you want to max completely, so getting multiple copies is even better. But yes, absolutely get this artifact, hands down. This is the must pull. This is the must pull. This is going to be relevant and meta for a very, very long time because of what it does. Just simply because of what it does, this is going to be a pretty big thing for a lot of your heavy hitter thief heroes. Um, Unfortunately, a lot of thief heroes rely heavily on evasion and having an evasion artifact. So, there is that kind of give or take, right? But there are some thief heroes that don't really need the evasion artifacts that can still benefit greatly from this. So yeah, things like thieves like Celine, even you can probably use. I think Celine already ignores damage sharing effects. Now that I think about it, I'm not for sure. I rarely use Celine, so that's kind of something I have to like check back on. But yeah, that's gonna be everything for Hwayoung. She comes out very soon. Yes, July 3rd. That is literally next week. Like literally next week. So ooh, hopefully you guys have your summons at the ready, because I'm gonna need to do some shop refreshing.
Since you came all this way, I'll show you the other side of this world. I shall offer you a presage. Your freedom is only but an illusion. I knew we'd meet again. Hopefully, it's different this time.
Now, you could have given me a million guesses, and I would have never guessed that they would release a light version of Tenebria. I would have never guessed it. Tenebria is probably one of my favorite all around like waifus next to like Lua. Like those two are like my top two for sure. So like I was like, oh my gosh. I have all the other Tenebrio Triple S and I can't wait to Triple S this one. You know what I mean? Like that's what came to my mind when I was thinking about when this hero was shown. But yes, I will be pulling for her, and it doesn't matter if she is a garbage unit. I love Tenebria, so I will be pulling, and I would encourage you to do the same, because even if she is bad, she is like the staple unit of the whole E7WC, and those units are not allowed to be bad. Okay, so it's either if she is any bit bad, she will be getting a massive buff. So just definitely, definitely, definitely a must pull, I would say. Without even looking at her kit, I'm already gonna tell you that it's a must pull. If you can get it, you should get it. But yes, she is a little bit of a bulkier opener unit. She has a lot of speed. I kind of skipped over her stats. Uh, But she has a decent amount of HP and a lot of speed, 120 base speed. So she isn't going to be like the fastest unit in the game. But depending on your gear, she'll be a pretty decent, pretty decent pseudo opener. If you have really good gear, she can be an opener. It really just depends on your account. I have pretty decent speed gear, so I'm excited. I'm excited to use her. And then she has, give a little HP to the team. She's a Pisces. Ooh, she has a HP imprint. So yes, HP imprints are like really, really nice to have on heroes. So getting multiple imprints on a hero that has HP, crit chance, effectiveness, like these are like the main ones you kind of want to get a little bit more imprints for. I guess effect res is also nice. But onto her skills. Her skill 3, Mirror of Abyss. Trap all enemies in a timeless space beyond the mirror, dispelling 2 buffs before inflicting block for 2 turns and a random debuff for 1 turn. And then it increases the combat readiness by 50%. Her random debuffs, Stun, Sleep, and Reverse Provoke. This is nasty. This is absolutely disgusting, by the way. Stun, sleep, and reverse provoke, those are all debuffs that really can mess up your turn. It doesn't matter which one lands, by the way. They are all horrible. Now, I guess, there are units that can deal with stun and sleep, like ML Sharoon and things like that. But these debuffs are extremely ignoring or extremely annoying because they are being paired with block. And if you don't know what block does, it essentially prevents you from being able to receive buff or cleansings and things like that from other heroes. So yes, you could draft ML Sharoon, and ML Sharoon could cleanse her own stun or sleep, but she will not be able to do so for the rest of her teammates that have block on them that who could be also stun and sleep. So this is very, very interesting. There's only one other hero in the game that has this debuff. That one ranger, I do not remember her name at all. But what she struggled with, I think, is due to the fact that, it wasn't team wide. A single target block doesn't really do much unless, they're you're going against an opponent that entire team is synergizing around that one unit. It doesn't really do that much. So this is definitely a lot more threatening of an opener when it blocks your entire team and gives these really, really annoying random debuffs as well. And I like how they threw in reverse provoke because they can pair this. You could kind of do some crazy little shenanigans by having like all the Tenebrias on the same team. Like literally, I'm pretty sure you could make a team with all the Tenebrias and it would be valid. Like it would actually work out. It wouldn't be a bad team at all. Now that I think about it, it wouldn't even be bad. It would be the most debuff heavy control based team ever. Um, yeah, Edward probably would just like obliterate it, but hey, it would be a fun thing to try out, and I'll probably be the one to try it out first, okay? But yes, on to the rest of her skills. You have her skill 2. She inflicts a rapture on all enemies for 2 turns. And after attacking, she has a 75% chance, I think it goes up to a 100% chance to inflict restrict for 2 turns. And then she grants stealth and barrier proportion to her level to the caster for 2 turns. So she has her own way to essentially go into hiding. Like after she debuffs the entire team, like crazy, she then gets to go into hiding and act like she didn't do any of that. So you can't even like deal with her afterwards, right? But yeah, and then a rupture, a brand new debuff, which is when attacking inflicts additional damage proportional to the max health of, I'm assuming, the hero themselves, or it could be her max health. I am not for sure. It doesn't specify. And it applies to heroes only because, again, they don't want to have any new debuffs that are, that cheese. Because it applies to heroes only, I'm assuming it's going to be the max health of the hero that it is on. So the higher the HP of the unit, I'm assuming, the more damage Rupture is going to do. Your low HP units are not really going to get affected by Rupture too much, but the high health ones should be taking a decent chunk of damage each time this procs. So there is that. Um, if I'm reading this right, again, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. Um, we'll just have to see it in combat to actually really know. And then we have her skill 1, attacks the enemies with a mirror with a 75, I think it goes up to 100% chance to inflict a random debuff for 1 turn. And when Mirror of Abyss, and I think that's her skill 3, is on cooldown, triggers a dual attack with the ally with the highest attack. They've been really pushing in this like trigger a dual attack with the ally with the highest attack. I wish it was random. I think whenever it's random, it's a lot more balanced and it makes the hero not as OP. But hey, it is what it is. And the random debuffs are decreased speed, defense, and poison. Poison is definitely horrible, like in RTA and things like that. It's not good. If it was Venom, if that was Venom, that would be really nice. That would be really, really nice change. Um, Smilegate, if you're listening, make that Venom and and I'll be very, very happy. I know it might be too OP, but like, hey, listen, poison is like, I understand why it's poison because the other Tenebrias, like these are all the debuffs, by the way. If you haven't caught on, all these debuffs that this Tenebria does are debuffs that all the other Tenebrias can apply, which I think is kind of cool. A little cool little Easter egg if you if you're familiar with the other Tenebria's kits. So that's pretty awesome. And yeah, she is set to come out very soon-ish, July 10th. So we don't even get a break. Hold on, right? Because we have ML Aria, and then it goes into her. That's so two back-to-back brand spanking new ML heroes. That's pretty insane. That's pretty insane. I'm gonna be doing my best. I'm kind of glad I did not get ML Aria when I did some summons for her, so I will be going for Tenebria. I will probably have a summoning video where I'll be super super excited or super super sad. We'll just see. We will just see. Well, she comes out on July 10th, and yeah, hopefully July is my birthday month. Hopefully I just get all the things I want throughout this event because it's like it's my birthday month, right? So I deserve it. But yeah, that's going to conclude this video going over all the brand spanking new things that Epic 7 has to offer. If you have any comments and questions and concerns, feel free to leave them down. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And feel free to share your excitement, your thoughts, what you're looking forward to in this epic new anniversary that is coming up. But yeah, see you all in the next one. Peace out.